Salisbury what?
Mass.
Oh. By the way,
From,
we're going live right now. Like it's loading.
that's fine. From 1 to 5,
Yeah.
and that's an hour away from Portland, so I wouldn't be back till 6. So I can either pull over and do it like this, or I can get home and then jump on when I'm back. But I'm not gonna be able to do any values
Okay. Well, that won't be an issue.
unless I do them like super early before them. Yeah, I probably just won't do anything tomorrow, to be honest with you.
That's fine.
I'll have to figure out what to do. Live from the car. It says we're live, but I can't see it. Are we live?
Yeah, we are.
All right, I guess I'll give it a second. So Hollis Jefferson. Did it say McCaw was doubtful
Yeah, he's
too?
doubtful. But he's been doubtful, right?
Yeah, he's been out.
We got a solid, I think 9 subscribers today
Nice.
so
Job.
far. Let's see, Discord.
Yeah, it won't show up that we're streaming on.
It usually
there we
never does for you.
Oh, I got it. Ha. Yeah, it says UFC picks again, Matt.
It does?
Yeah.
Where?
It's real. At the end again, same thing. UFC DFS picks tonight.
It's annoying. I'm changing it right now.
My buddy is so like involved with the coronavirus that's going on.
What do you mean involved?
Like just sending me and my other buddy in a group chat like messages on it every single day about how many people have been affected and died, and he's
Sorry, guys, just changed it.
He's convinced that we're all gonna get it.
That's just in China right now, right? Or
He said that they found a case in New Hampshire, which is like right next door to me, so that's a little scary. I don't know if that's real. He could just be bull crapping, but
what's going on, guys? Thanks for the support. Thanks for the love.
hey guys, I'm in my car.
Don't worry, he has his laptop, so he can still look at everything.
That's what you call dedication. Car streams.
Car
You gotta do
streams.
what you gotta do.
I'm not in the car. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Before we start anything, I want to talk about last night real quick because it was a little all over the place for every DFS player. I don't think there's a single person I saw on my timeline that really did cash that played good plays. So I do apologize for Harnesston playing 5 minutes, I think it was. So I mean,
they were so chalky too that it was just
yeah.
I don't think anybody really had a feel on that Houston rotation. It was kind of wild. They called up Frazier from the G League, and then he ended up playing all those minutes, and then Cephalosha, and I don't know.
Yeah, but regardless, guys, I mean, we went with the stats that were given to us, which is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna yell at each other. We're not gonna yell at you guys for giving us false information. I mean, you guys were with us behind those picks too, right? So don't worry. We'll bounce back tonight. Another thing, guys, I put out a tutorial video, 5 tips on how to win at DFS for beginners, for anybody who's joining the chat right now, for anybody who's joining the stream. If you guys just don't know where to start, you guys have a ton of questions and you just can't cover all the bases, I basically start from the ground up and I go over all the basics on how to win at DFS, from bankroll management to having proper exposure to having proper bankroll management within your DFS account, all that good stuff, guys. It's really tough to get started and just kind of throw yourself into the stream and then understand all the context, all the lingo that we're talking about. So go ahead, give that video a watch if you guys do have time. Again, it's free. It's on YouTube. So go ahead, after the stream, if you guys want to go ahead and do that. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into the slate. TJ has to get off just a little bit early, but don't worry. That's why we started a little bit early ourselves. Let's go ahead and just dive right into it. Milwaukee chalk. Do you want to go ahead and just start there?
Yeah, let's do that. So obviously Giannis is out tonight. So we're looking at a ton of these Milwaukee Bucks. There's a lot of value in this game. It is easily the highest over-under on the slate at a whopping 241. I don't think I've seen anything over 240. Not in my life, but this season for sure. I know we've had some high 230s with like Hawks games and things like that, but we have Washington playing Milwaukee. It actually helps that Giannis is out. It gives us a ton of value on the Milwaukee side of the ball. And it also makes Washington a little bit more intriguing, maybe makes me think that they might be able to stay somewhat competitive in this game now. Milwaukee's just an absolute machine with or without Giannis. But with that being said, yeah, so Chris Middleton at 7K, 30 minutes. He's a 1.41 fantasy point per minute with Giannis off the court. Eric Bledsoe at 6,600, 1.46 fantasy point per minute with Giannis off the court. Middleton gets a 7.4% usage bump, while Bledsoe gets a 9.6% usage bump. Brook Lopez gets a 5.7% usage bump, only averages 0.82 fantasy points per minute, but still a pretty good play at 4,800. Dante DiVincenzo, 4,300, should see 25, 26 minutes, been playing well as of late, gets a 4.4% usage bump, 1.08 fantasy points per minute with Giannis up the court. And then the most obvious play of tonight is going to be Ilyasova. Ilyasova, 3,300, 26 minutes, should start, averages 1.07 fantasy points per minute with Giannis off the court. I think all those guys are cash viable tonight. I'm definitely locking in Middleton, Bledsoe, and Ilyasova. I also have a lot of interest in Dante DiVincenzo and cash, but I think Middleton, Bledsoe, and Ilyasova are in my cash lineup no matter what.
Yeah, two things, TJ. It looks like somebody can actually hear the background noise. It looks like the mic is picking it up, so if you wouldn't mind, just like unplug that and then use your laptop. I guess it is annoying. I don't know.
Is that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the work, so now I'm in the car putting in work. Man. You gotta do.
That's dedication, but we've already crunched all the values, so don't worry, guys. He's not just blurting off random stats. So we have all the stats in front of us. Yeah, so I completely agree with you. The one thing I do like about this slate is number one, it made this game a lot more competitive. I'm glad because it opened up at 129, and I was really scared of the blowout potential with Washington. Obviously, with Washington, there was some real concern with that being a blowout, and which is what I mentioned on the video with Troy Brown. He does play with the third unit when they do get blown out, which is why I liked him so much. But now I like all the Wizards, and I like Milwaukee even more now, just because it's going to be more competitive. So there shouldn't be a blowout, but of course Milwaukee is still a great unit. So yeah, Milwaukee, I think you do start with Illy. I think he becomes a building block in all your lineups. Honestly, all these Bucks really do. Going with Bledsoe, Middleton, Brook Lopez, DiVincenzo, you can't go wrong with any one of those guys. So honestly, everything that you just said is completely true. I think if you're going to go GPPs for these guys, I think Wesley Matthews, just because of the pace of the game, is a decent GPP option, playing 25 minutes. I know he's never productive. He's literally just a shooter, but that screams GPP. So I think Wesley Matthews, it looks like DiVincenzo's coming in at lower ownership too, so we do like DiVincenzo a lot. I think those are your viable GPP options if I had to pick them. But everybody else, I mean, man, they're all in smash spots. Every single one of these guys. It literally has Ilyasova here at a 50% smash spot, which means he is going to go 10 over. Yeah, 10 over what he's projected at, or 10 over 5 times value, and he has a 50% chance of doing that. So unbelievable in that percentage. So.
Matt, somebody also brought up George Hill. Yeah, he rates out pretty well on our sheet too. Yeah. The minutes just are never really there for him, unfortunately. So I would label him more of a GPP play, whereas I would label Ilyasova, Middleton, and Bledsoe as cash plays. And like I said, I really like Dante DiVincenzo as my fourth option from Milwaukee, but there are a lot of good plays on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight.
While we're still here, let's flip over to Washington. Yeah, Milwaukee, guys, you can't go wrong with playing all the Bucks tonight. I'd say at least 4 or 5 Milwaukee Bucks in your cash lineup. That's what I recommend. Switching over to the other side of the ball, since we're already here, I talked about Troy Brown on our video. And Troy Brown, goodness, I have an itch like on the edge of my nose, and it's really annoying. Troy Brown, 28 minutes. He is blowout prone. I know this is probably not going to be a blowout now, but Troy Brown at 4.5 is getting a heavy boost in usage just without McRae actually on the court. So averages 1.11 fantasy points per minute. I think he's going to be even more involved in the rotation now. I think 28 minutes is actually his floor if I had to take a guess. So Troy Brown, very productive, obviously up pace, but he's very low owned as of right now. I'm going to keep refreshing. If that is the case, he's going to become a GPP play. You might end up seeing him in our cash lineup as well. I think he's that good of a play. And then Bertans, also a decent play for GPPs. And then Bradley Beal is going to be a little bit more on the chalky side just because of the high over-under. Bradley Beal, again, I need to update all the percentage ownership because he's showing low too. I think everybody's going to go towards Milwaukee, and I think it's shifting off of Bradley Beal. I think they're looking more in that mid-range option. I think that might be the reason why he's showing low. But Bradley Beal, also a very good option. TJ, who do you like from these Wizards?
Yeah, I really like Troy Brown tonight, and I just want to make it evident that, or clear that I also am on a hotspot, so I have a full functioning laptop, so I can look at pages, what have you. But yeah, so I really love Troy Brown tonight at 4,500, like Matt just alluded to. Averages 1.11 fantasy points per minute with all the injuries that they have, adding McRae into that mix of guys that are now hurt for the Wizards. So I think he's a cash lock for me as well, along with Middleton, Bledsoe, and Ilyasova. I think those are going to be my four core that I'm building my cash lineup around tonight. And like you said, Matt, I know we've been really high on always coming back with somebody on the other side of the ball when we play one team in a really high over-under. So I really like Bradley Beal at 8,300. I know I just said we like Brown at 4,500, but I wouldn't mind coming back with Beal as well. If they can keep this game close, Beal should see his 35, 36 minutes, averages 1.3 fantasy points per minute with all those guys in McRae off the court, including Mo Wagner, Rue, Garrison Matthew, and then I forget who else is out for them. I said Mo Wagner.
Oh, okay.
There's somebody else that is always out for them right now. Oh, John Wall. I guess he doesn't count. Yeah. So I definitely like Beal. He gets a 2.2% usage bump, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for somebody, with his ability and somebody that handles the ball that much, that is a pretty good usage bump. So I definitely do like Bradley Beal at 8,300. Those are really the only two guys I'm looking at. I don't hate Bertans for GPPs just because they're going to need scoring, and that's what he does. He's going to shoot a lot of threes. So, but for cash, I'm locking in Troy Brown, and I'm definitely intrigued by Bradley Beal.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But again, with all that being said, Milwaukee over these guys, maybe Troy Brown can fit in there. But Milwaukee is definitely where the chalk is going to be tonight, and it's going to be good chalk. All these guys are very productive without Giannis on the court.
Yeah, this will not be Houston from last
No,
night.
This won't be Houston, guys. They have talent. They're still projected at 126, which is ridiculous. Let's go over. I want to talk about the next injury news that came out earlier today, and that was with Cleveland because I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of questions with Cleveland. So I'm going to switch over there. Who was ruled out for them? Garland. Yeah, that's who was ruled out. So Garland, Windler, Zizic, and Porter's questionable right now. It looks like the only real viable option for cash is going to be Dante Exum here at 28 minutes. He's just been very productive on this unit. I feel like he's not that good of a fantasy point per minute player. We know that, but it's a high-paced game. I think Exum is the only real cash option. Outside of that, I feel like everybody else is just strictly GPP. And we're going to get a lot of Sexton questions. He's just not that productive of a player, guys. I know he's getting a lot of minutes, 6.5. Yeah, he'll have a high ceiling and a good matchup. But again, not for cash. I'd just stick to GPPs. I'm not going to be high on these guys. Kevin Love, also not a bad play. Decent matchup, 7.7. He actually got a price reduction here. So Kevin Love's not a bad option here. But again, guys, Garland did not switch up the team that much besides Exum. Yeah.
I don't have any interest. Is Exum projected at 28 minutes
28 now, yeah.
He's a 0.54 fantasy point per minute. So,
yeah.
I mean, I get that people might roster him just because he's 3,100. I'm not going to do it. I don't have any interest in him. He's not very productive when he's on the court. The minutes are there against the Pelicans in a pace-up spot. So, I mean, I do understand it. If you need the salary savings, I get rostering him. But I don't think it's something that I'll be doing tonight. You alluded to Kevin Love. I really like Kevin Love tonight. It's 7,700. He actually gets a 5.2% usage bump with all those injuries that they have. So he's definitely intriguing. I don't think he makes the cash lineups because I think guys like Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Kemba are in better spots. But I definitely love Kevin Love tonight in that matchup against the Pelicans. Definitely a really good GPP play for tonight. But besides that, Sexton, sure, but I'm not interested in him. So Kevin Love's really the only guy I'm interested in. But I get the Exum play at 3-1, but I just don't think I'm going to get there.
Yeah, I think that's the only viable option. Him and Kevin Love, really.
I think Exum carries some. I don't think Kevin Love's gonna be that high owned in cash. I think Dante Exum actually carries some ownership tonight in cash, which is unfortunate. But yeah, not for me.
Real quick, guys, before we go any further, if this is your first time to the stream, thank you for the support. Hit that subscribe button. We want to see a lot of Kawhi Leonard laughs here throughout the stream. Like last night. So we do appreciate your support, guys. Ask any questions you have in the chat. We'll be sure to answer them. We're going to go through our favorite teams here. Next is your boys in Boston, I feel like here, with Tatum being out. So what's your thoughts on Boston?
I really like Kemba. So it stinks that Toronto's playing Atlanta because I feel like they're garnering a lot more ownership than they normally would in a different type of matchup. Wow, okay, Dante Exum's starting now, so, I mean, just retract what I just said.
Should play about 30 minutes or so.
Should get, 28, 30 minutes, so, that's tough. Yeah, that probably makes him that much better of a cash game play and something that I really need to consider now just because, feel like he has the opportunity to be more productive alongside like Kevin Love, Sexton, TT. So that's definitely something we're going to have to come back to, see if he gets a little bit of a minute bump. But even at 28 minutes, but now starting, we'll have to go back and calculate that. But yeah, the Celtics. I really like Kemba, 7,800. I think people might be scared off that price tag. Doesn't scare me. 5.6% usage bump with Kanter and Tatum off the court. Averages 1.35 fantasy points per minute. I don't mind Jaylen Brown at 6,400, but I'd rather find the cash to get Kemba tonight. But yeah, besides that, that's really the only interest I have in the Celtics. A lot of them are priced appropriately. I mean, Hayward at 7-1, Smart at 5-8. Not really too enticing against that tough Miami defense. We're going to have to wait and see what's going on with Jimmy Butler. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, I think if I'm taking anybody from cash, it's Kemba. But like I said, I don't mind Jaylen at 6'4" if you land on him. I think he's in a good spot too.
Yeah, the good thing about the slate, guys, is if Jimmy Butler does end up getting ruled out, it's not going to affect your cash games really too much. I mean, maybe a player, just because Milwaukee is so chalky, you can't really beat the usage in that game going around. You can't beat the value, so that's a good thing. That's why I have less anxiety now going without TJ here. So I do agree with you, though, with Boston. So Boston, Kemba Walker does get that massive boost here. Kemba Walker strictly GPP, just at 9% ownership. Well, not strictly, but if you can fit him into your line, feel free to with confidence. But showing really low ownership, so he's going to be a very, very good GPP play for tonight. Yeah. Also with Jaylen Brown, yeah, he's going to be the second best option. He's actually more on the chalky side, so might end up being more of a cash play. But I do like both of those guys in cash and GPP. But you're right, outside of that, not really looking too much. Maybe Tice, but again, bad matchup against Bam. I mean, he's going to have to be in there. But I don't really see any reason to roster any of these other guys.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And then let's go over... I'm missing one more team.
In terms of teams dealing with injuries?
Yeah, there was somebody else. Is it Philly? No, Philly. Because Joel Embiid's still questionable.
Philly. We're still pending Embiid. Golden State only has Looney out. We have Atlanta has Len and Fernando out, so John Collins is starting at center, which is kind of intriguing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep. That's a good point.
Pelicans are healthy. Memphis is without Grayson Allen and Jay Crowder again.
We can talk about that real quick. Okay. So yeah, I got questions on my video about John Morant. He actually was like a very popular question. I got 2 questions on John Morant so far. So John Morant, I don't really get the hype with him. 7K, he's a 1.11 fantasy point per minute player at 33 minutes, and he's playing in a pace down spot. It really doesn't affect him too much. I don't really get the John Morant love, maybe in GPPs, but outside of that, no, I really don't like him. Crowder really doesn't give a boost to these guys in general, so I think the best option, if I had to pick one, is Kyle Anderson here, showing a 5.5 on our sheet. He did get the starting role last game. He did go off 27 DK points, 28 minutes, so that would be fairly good to his price tag here. But Kyle Anderson really the only viable option I see from this roster. I don't know if you see anybody else. I mean, Dylan Brooks got the increase in price tag here. I know I rostered Dylan Brooks in our last cash lineup, and he absolutely went off. But I think Kyle Anderson's the only viable option here. Only guy that's really benefiting.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of thought Dylan Brooks would rate out a little bit better on our sheet, but he actually doesn't.
Yeah.
A decent GPP play at 6K, but nothing I'm really diving into in cash. Like you've alluded to, it's Milwaukee, it's a couple of those Wizards, and that's kind of what you're doing for cash tonight. I feel like it's going to be a lot of repetitive lineups, and a lot of people on the cash side of the house are going to have the same builds. But yeah, I think that Kyle Anderson at 4,100 is a decent play. Averages 0.9 fantasy points per minute with those injuries. But yeah, not too much interest in this Memphis game tonight.
Yeah, it's a very, very straightforward slate. So I think the only other team that we really have to discuss as far as possible injury news is going to be Dallas. Dallas without Porzingis, and that would obviously draw interest to Doncic. Doncic is the only really high-paying upside now without Giannis on the slate here. So Doncic would obviously be a very viable option in a pace-up spot. He would obviously be in a smash spot with his price tag at 12. We know it gets up there mid-12s without Porzingis on the court, and it's a pace-up spot for them. So if Porzingis is ruled out, Doncic obviously would be a very viable spot. But again, like with the roster constructions here, I feel like a lot of people, everybody's going to be playing mid-range options, so it's going to be very hard to get Doncic in there. I feel like if you're looking for a GPP leverage, Doncic in a lineup with a lot of these value plays from Milwaukee, mixing with some other value plays like Exum, would be a nice little GPP pivot there. And it might draw a lower ownership in general. So Doncic, I really do like him without Porzingis in that pace-up spot. And then other than that, it looks like Delon Wright here, 26 minutes is actually another decent play. Pretty productive on the court here. And then Hardaway is at 5.3. I think those guys are more GPP options that we'll have to see without Porzingis. I'm going to recalculate for you guys if that does happen before the lock does start here. Any thoughts on Dallas?
No, I don't have any on them. If Porzingis is out, yeah, it obviously makes Luka that more desirable, but until we get that news, I'm all set on them.
Also, Ricky Rubio, is he still questionable?
Yeah, I thought he was leaning toward probable though.
Okay, because that would obviously shake things up. I would like that team for GPPs.
Yeah, he's probable. I do like Devin Booker, and I keep landing on him at 9,100. So he's definitely somebody that I'm considering rostering tonight. So we're gonna have to wait and see what goes on. But yeah, Rubio is probable, so I'm assuming he's in.
Okay, real quick, we got a question about this Michael Porter. Denver in general, they are playing in a pace-up spot, so I do like Denver for that reason. However, their prices are adjusted accordingly here. Will Barton at 6.6, 34 minutes only comes out to a 5.2 on our sheet. Malik Beasley, 5.2. Jokic, 5.1 at 10.2. I like these guys if they can get above 111 here, but again, you're betting on that. I don't hate Michael Porter, but again, not for cash. Definitely not for cash. But Michael Porter at 6.2 is just a little too pricey for me. I know he's productive, and his minutes do scare me at 25. So I do like these Denver guys, but again, they're a little too pricey for me. They'd have to go over what their projected over-under is for me to like them at all.
Dante Exum is so bad.
Yeah, he is. Oh, I'm going to touch base on somebody real quick. So I saw some love earlier on Zion Williamson, and I get it. I get it because he's 7.2, and he's projected 28 minutes now. He averages like 1.5 fantasy points per minute since he's been on the court so far this season, and he's hit value in both these games. I will say this about Zion. Everybody's thinking the same thing, okay? So he's going to be decently owned in GPPs. If this is a night where you fade somebody like Zion, I would say do it just because he's going to be inflated in ownership. It won't give you much of a leverage. I know that's boring for me to say, but Zion is probably going to be highly owned, okay? He's tagged right here as a GPP play. A lot of people are thinking the same thing. They're looking at these previous games and they're like, dude, he's playing 28 minutes. He's going to be a monster. He probably, he'll probably regress at some point against... Oh, hold on. I'm getting advertisements. He'll have to regress at some point. I mean, he's not going to average 1.5 fantasy points per minute, at least not now. He definitely will get to that point, but again, 28 minutes just scares me at 7.2 price tag. If you're going to play him at GPPs, you'd have to be overweight on him. He's going to be about 15% owned in GPPs is what Roto's going to be showing here after I update it. But yeah, so that's my prediction on Zion. I do like Zion. I think he's a great player. But again, everybody's looking at him tonight, and I've been seeing a lot of his name getting thrown around. So that's my thought on Zion.
A monster.
Yeah, he's a monster.
That's it. He's worth it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah?
No, I don't know. 7-2, yeah, but the way he's been playing those first 3 games, if he does see the 28 minutes, I mean, I like him as a GPP play. But I understand your logic for sure, but I don't think he's an absolute freak.
Yeah. No, he's a great player, and I really do hope he keeps it up. I hope he becomes somebody that can average 1.5 fantasy points plus. He'll be fun for DFS, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start answering some of these questions here. Hopefully I didn't miss any. I'm going to scroll up real quick.
Beal or Booker, DK? I say Beal, but I like Booker for GPPs.
Yeah, I like both of them. I probably Beal.
I have a lineup with both of them right now.
Nice. Drew Holiday, Kevin Love, or Kemba. Kemba. Kevin Love's a good option too. I don't hate. I would say no to Drew Holiday 100%.
I say Kemba.
Yeah, it's a toss-up, I think, between Kemba and K-Love. I'd probably go Kemba.
Ooh, Grant, Zion or Lowry, GPP. That's very tough.
Well, Lowry's going to be decently owned. I will say that.
Yeah.
Depends on who else you got in your lineup. Yeah, Lowry's coming at 28%.
I'd say Zion.
Yeah, I'd say Zion just for GPPs. Questions here. Taylor Booker, you already said that. Are you excluding Philly in general? I do not like Philly. I don't like Philly. If Embiid plays. Tobias Harris becomes a decent option. 7.4. He's actually going to be slightly undervalued. But if Embiid does play, absolutely not. I don't like any of these guys. I really don't. I hate Ben Simmons at 10K. I feel like that's way too pricey.
Yeah, especially if Embiid's back.
Yeah. If Embiid is out, I mean, if you want to take a stab at a couple of these guys in GPP, sure. But
you'll get Simmons at low ownership tonight for sure, especially at 10K, with or without Embiid.
Another player that's going to have a high ceiling here just because Charlotte is actually in the pace-up spot, which is disgusting at 105 here. Devontae Graham, he has a little bit of upside here. Like I said, 36 minutes, 7.4 is actually a pretty low price tag for him. He's going to be a decent GPP option if you guys want to look at Devontae Graham. He's obviously the best player on that roster.
Jaylen Brown or Gordon Hayward? I say Jaylen Brown.
Any Golden State players? So yeah, I actually like D'Lo. I mentioned that in my video. D'Lo becomes a good GPP option. D'Lo, Draymond Green are undervalued. Even Glenn Robinson is not a bad price tag here at 4.6. It actually shakes up things without Willie Cauley-Stein. Not too much, but it does inflate the minutes a little bit for a couple of these guys. I do like D'Lo as a GPP option for sure. I do like D'Lo. D'Lo 7.6. I feel like his price tag should be in the 8K range for me to be off of him. I like him in the 7K range. Feels like every single time I run the roster, this guy he gets injured or ruled out, which is frustrating.
Oh, Embiid is playing.
Oh, he is. Okay. So, yeah, if Embiid's playing, absolutely not with Philly.
I'd take a stab with Simmons and GPPs. Why not? He'll be like sub 2% ownership.
Yeah, well, 10K is just way too pricey.
Oh, it's absolutely absurd, but I'm just saying. Why not take a stab?
If you guys are new to the stream, welcome, welcome, welcome. We break down all of our favorite plays up through lock. If we miss any injury, or if you guys are missing any injury news, we'll be sure to cover it, and we'll be sure to cover all the plays associated with those. Guys, again, we do this every single night. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time, feel free to ask any questions into the chat. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification bell for us. Julius Randle for GPP. I actually haven't really looked at the next today. What's Randle at? 8.6. He's in a good matchup. Maybe for GPPs.
He's a 4.8 on our sheet. If I'm taking anybody, it's probably Alfred Payton for GPPs.
Yeah. Alfred Payton and Morris isn't a bad play.
Somebody asked about anybody else in the Pelicans. Who do you like from New Orleans, or does Zion? I think Zion. I don't think he ruins the usage. I just think he's another mouth to feed. So like you look at Brandon Ingram, for instance, who has averaged 28 DraftKings points over the 3 games that Zion's been in. His usage is Jay Crowder out. His usage is down to like 27, 26% in those 3 games too. So somebody that's been talked about as the most improved player so far in the NBA this season has taken a huge hit since Zion's been back. So I just think it's another mouth to feed. It's another guy that's going to be a superstar. So I don't really like anybody else from these Pelicans until Zion gets his like concrete minutes as to what he'll get night in and night out. I'll probably avoid them.
Yeah, Ingram's going to be virtually unowned. I mean, if you just look at a 7.6 price tag, I would take him without Zion 100%. I mean, he was balling out when Zion was not there, but he's just regressed so much.
Yeah, it's just been he's been unbelievable so far this year. Except since Zion's been back, it's just it's a guy that just is very productive, and that's how it is.
Derek Favors becomes a decent option just because he has a good matchup at 6K, but other than that, I'm not really interested in anybody else but Zion. Yeah. Sorry we're being so boring, guys. We all like Milwaukee. We both like Milwaukee so much. I mean, you just can't get off Milwaukee. You have to be overexposed to them at GPPs. You have to play them in cash, and then you come back with Washington. I mean, Giannis being rolled out just makes it so straightforward. I mean, if this is a night to make money, it's going to be tonight. It's just easy plug in and play. Just take advantage of the casuals playing that are just playing for fun, because they're going to be missing out on the Milwaukee guys. All these guys should be very, very high owned though. Very high owned. What y'all thinking? Rozier versus the Knicks. I don't like Rozier usually ever. Not a good point per dollar player. 36 minutes. I mean, GPP, sure. But Rozier, 6.8 is just too pricey for me.
Yeah, Rozier's trash.
Coming from a Celtics fan, yeah, he does not like Rozier.
Yeah, he's trash. All right, Matt, I gotta get off.
All right, so TJ's leaving us. I will cover any injuries up through lock, guys, so stay with me. I will get off in about 15 minutes or so to start building my GPP, so feel free to ask any questions on the slate. I'll go ahead and answer them.
All right, guys, good luck tonight.
Thanks, TJ. Thoughts on Trae Young? So I actually like Trae Young tonight. Trae Young's not a bad GPP play because he does average 1.57 fantasy points per minute. I don't have it updated here just because he does have a bad matchup against Toronto. So Toronto, Lowry will be on him, so he's not going to carry much ownership at all. I do like him for upside, though. If you like Trae Young for GPPs, I'm all for that. So I think Trae Young, especially with there being not too many pay-up options tonight, the only other one being Doncic, I do like Trae Young as a GPP option for sure. Graham Gasol versus Walker, Kemba Walker, or Ish. Okay. Is that cash or GPP? Favorite Bucks. So we can talk about the Bucks again. For anybody who is joining, we'll go ahead and go there real quick. So the chalk is going to come from Ilyasova. It's going to come from Bledsoe. Middleton are going to be the highest owned guys. Outside of that, I feel like DiVincenzo is going to be low owned. Brook Lopez is going to be decently owned. Wesley Matthews, strictly GPP. Sorry, Snow, I missed a line. I'll have to scroll up here. Snow set a line in here. Bledsoe, Beal, Middleton, Ilyasova, Favors, Kemba, Troy Brown, Jaylen Brown. I can get behind that. Favors will basically be unowned. I do like Favors. Not a bad play. And the rest are very high owned. Yeah, and Kemba's going to be decently owned. Or not as decently owned. So I do like that line. How many Bucks in GPPs? Like I said, guys, be overweight on the Bucks. You can't have too many Bucks tonight. Be overweight on the field. So like right here, it's showing 61% owned for Ilyasova. If you're running more than one lineup, obviously have more than 61% of Ilyasova. Same thing with Middleton. Have more than 52% of Middleton. Be overweight on these guys. These guys are good chalk. They're in good matchups, and they're going to score 126 points. They're all going to hit value. All of these Milwaukee Bucks should hit value. They're not going to be like Houston like last night. Is Exum and Bledsoe a good pair to start on FanDuel? Exum and Bledsoe are really good plays on DraftKings. So if the pricing's anything like DraftKings, then I do like them on FanDuel as well. I'm 100% lock on Middleton. Yes, guys. Every single time Giannis is out for these guys snap off, and that's in low-paced games, dude. They are in a very, very high-paced game here. 126.25. You need to start these Bucks. You're doing it wrong if you do not base your builds around the Bucks here. You're doing it wrong if you're not doing that. Young or Beal? They're two different price ranges, so I can't really gauge that. If you're talking about value, like who do I like more? I like Beal more. Thoughts on Ayton? Yeah, we'll get over. Let's go ahead and go over to the Suns. So I still like these Suns without, or even with Rubio. I mentioned that in my video, guys. There's a lot of value here, so I like Bridges as a sneaky play here. Bridges at 3.9 is rating out to a 6 on our sheet. I know he's not that productive, but he's very, very cheap here at 3.9. So if you need even more value, Mikal Bridges might not be a bad option here. And then Fernando just got ruled out. Devin Booker's actually not a bad play either. He rates well on our sheet, 9.1. I feel like he's still underpriced. When he got down to 7.5, I was mind-boggled by that. So Kelly Oubre, Ayton are not bad plays as well. So I do like these Suns, I think, but you can't take too much of them. I'd take like one if I was doing a GPP lineup with these guys. Devin Booker's still not a bad play. It's a pace down spot for them. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. They all shouldn't hit value, but one or two of them maybe will go off. I do like Ayton and I do like Booker. I like their whole starting lineup besides Rubio. Miami. We can talk about Miami real quick. So Miami's still pending Butler. So until we hear anything on the Butler news, I can't really say too much, but I do like Jimmy Butler always at 8.1. I feel like he's always decently priced at 8.1. I can't hate on that. I feel like he's a good GPP play at that point. Ayton is, or not Ayton, Adebayo's in a good matchup here at 8.4. So we know that the Boston struggle against bigs, especially with their thin rotation now. So I don't mind Adebayo for GPPs. But again, we're still waiting that Jimmy Butler news. Guys, hit me with those updates if you do hear them into the chat. Kemba, Exum, Middleton, Ilyasova, Brook Lopez, D'Lo, Siakam, Bam. Okay, I would get more Bucks in there, man. You gotta have at least 4. I feel like you gotta have 4 Bucks in your lineup, and I gotta say my 4 favorite Bucks are Illy, Bledsoe, Middleton, and DiVincenzo. I also like Brook Lopez, so I might have 5 of these guys in my lineup at some point in some of my GPPs. Siakam, yeah, I do like Siakam tonight. Siakam's not in a bad spot just because it is a pace-up game. They are playing Atlanta, so he's not really. They're not going to be playing any defense. Atlanta isn't. They rank bottom of the barrel in pretty much every defensive category here. So I do like Kyle Lowry. I do like Siakam, and I do like Marc Gasol. It looks like Marc Gasol is going to come in at very low ownership just because there's so many options at center, so that could be a decent GPP option. But Marc Gasol, 4.9, not a bad play. Siakam, 35 minutes just with the minute production here. I do like Siakam as a GPP play, for sure. You love Ayton all the time. Yeah, Ayton's been tearing it up this season. He was about 6K last season, and he was barely hitting value then, so he's definitely stepped it up this season. I'm very, very happy for Ayton, for sure. Tournament, Morant or Bledsoe? Bledsoe. I got to see the rest of your lineup, though, because, again, you can't play too many Bucks tonight, guys. The Bucks are the most obvious chalk on the slate, and it is by far. Like, these guys, 8.4 point per dollar value here for Ilyasova, Bledsoe at 6.6K, 6.2 on our sheet. These guys are just very obvious plays. Very obvious plays. Thoughts on Lonzo for cash DraftKings? No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go Lonzo Ball tonight. See how he's been doing with Zion. Yeah, I mean, very up and down. Probably not for cash. No, I'm probably not going to look at Lonzo Ball at all. Oh, yeah. So I haven't even built my exposures. What am I thinking? I'll show you my favorite plays in just a second, guys. You guys know I do this every single time. If this is your first time to the stream, guys, please hit that subscribe button. We do this every single night before lock. We try to help you build your lineups. Go ahead and ask any questions you have into the chat. We will be sure to get to them. any Sexton love. So I talked about Sexton earlier in the live stream. So let's go talk about Cleveland real quick. He actually doesn't get that big of a boost. Sexton doesn't. The only players I really do like from Cleveland are Exum and Kevin Love. I think those are my favorite 2 plays. Sexton could be a decent GPP option, but I probably wouldn't start him in cash. He's just not a productive player. He actually doesn't benefit that much without Garland on the court. But yeah, I might take a stab at him in a couple of GPPs. Again, guys, very straightforward slate. All right, I'm going to go back here to my lineups here. So yeah, Ilyasova's coming in here. I love Troy Brown. I love Bledsoe. Kemba Walker, sneaky GPP option. I love Middleton, sneaky GPP option. And D'Lo. I love Brook Lopez. I love Bradley Beal. And Kyle Lowry, again, going to be a GPP option for me. For sure. Exum's also on the list there. If you guys want to take a look at this, feel free. $3 for GPPs. Yes, I wouldn't start anything less than $3 or $4 for GPPs, or in general. You guys need to start the Bucks. Like, look at all these lineups. This lineup has 4, 4, 4, 4. Yeah, so I think the minimum is going to be 4 for me for the Bucks. 4, literally 4 in every single lineup. Those are your building blocks. I can keep scrolling. There's 3, but yeah, majority of them are going to have 4. You're taking down the $4 tonight. You're going to be competing against me because I enter those $4 every single night. Also, to just reiterate, guys, for anybody joining, I did... Oh, 1 second, getting updates here. I did post a video called 5 Tips on How to Win at DFS. It's basically a beginner strategy. I posted a video earlier today, so if you guys want to give that a look, if you guys are new to the chat, if you're new to DFS in general, feel free to go ahead and watch that video. I go over everything from bankroll management, contest selection, exposures. I go over all that stuff. I even go over like inputting projections for different sports and what that looks like. And then I go over like what tools you guys should have when building your lineups. Of course, you can't do this based on the feeling. You have to do it based on statistics, okay? Or else you won't be consistent, which is why we try to help you guys out every single stream. Aldridge out tomorrow. Yes, that will change tomorrow. Good question. I'm going to go ahead and look here. At 5,700 for center, any recommendations? Let's go ahead and look. All right, 5,700. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Tice. Thompson's also in a good matchup. So I don't mind either one of those plays. Tice is not a bad play just because he has to be on the court. You guys have to remember that Williams and Cantor are both out for Boston, so I don't mind Tice. Bertans or Brown and GPP. I like both of them. I like Troy Brown. I think Troy Brown's going to be a sneaky option tonight for GPPs. I feel like I'm a broken record when I talk about Troy Brown. He makes or breaks me every single time I play him. He did do well the other night, though. I mean, the night that we played him, I know somebody sent me a near winning lineup with Troy Brown and Derek Favors in it, which were my favorite GPP options the other night. So that was pretty cool. No, not a minimum stack for the Wizards. I would not say there's no really minimum value for the Wizards, guys. I don't like the Wizards as much as I like the Bucks. No, I'm sorry if you didn't understand me. I really like Troy Brown for GPPs, and I think Bradley Beal's like the only viable, really hard viable cash option. I like Bradley Beal. I'm not going to give a minimum count to the Wizards though. I like the Bucks a lot more. Besides Troy Brown, I like Troy Brown a lot in GPPs. Yeah, I'm still in D'Lo. I still like D'Lo for GPPs, for sure. It's just like if you look at that roster, man, there's nobody else that's gonna score. I mean, who's gonna step up? Glenn Robinson, Alec Burks, maybe. It's like D'Lo's the only guy there right now. 7.6. Like you're getting superstar talent, scoring talent anyway, out of a 7.6 price tag. I mean, and then you go ahead and you look at somebody like Kyle Lowry, 7.2. He could easily beat Kyle Lowry tonight at 7.2, and they play the same position. So just a good pivot. I do like D'Lo tonight. I know it's a low over under, but again, he's like the only guy on that team, whereas Toronto has so many different weapons. Rubio, ? So Rubio has actually taken a bad turn since Ayton's been back. So literally look at this. 21, 16, 14, and those are miserable games. 37 is his only really good game. 28, 65, yeah, he had a blowout. Or he had a really good game. 27, I mean, he's mainly had bad games since Ayton's been back. It's been kind of weird. He's eaten into his ownership, or he's eaten into his usage a lot, so I don't get that. Rubio's been struggling. I like the other Suns, though. I really do. Dylan Brooks good for cash. Dylan Brooks is a safe option. He's like the most average player in the NBA right now. He's 6K, and he averages 1 fantasy point per minute, literally, and he plays 30 minutes. So he's like the most average player in the entire NBA. So it's just kind of funny. He's playing in the pace down spot, so I wouldn't necessarily say him for cash, but it's just kind of funny. Yeah, all he does is shoot, exactly. So if you're getting a 7.6 price tag out of somebody that all he does is shoot and he's just constantly involved in the offense, take it. I like D'Lo. All right, we got a GPP line dropped in here. Bledsoe, Beal, Middleton, Ilyasova. I'm sorry. Middleton, Ilyasova, Brook Lopez, D'Lo, Troy Brown, Kemba. I like that. I like that a lot. Actually, so no, that was one of my GPP lines I sent to TJ a while ago, so I do like that lineup. Very solid. Again, you need to have a lot of Milwaukee exposure tonight. They're gonna crush value tonight. They're just going to. It is not like the Rockets. These guys are going to be in the rotation heavily. The only guys that I would stay away from, Chris Nunn's ruled out. I'll go ahead and update the values for that. The only players I might stay away from are maybe George Hill and any of these guys playing under 20 minutes. But George Hill could definitely be a viable GPP option. What's going on, guys? Thanks for showing the love. Thank you. Yeah, and Rubio is not consistent, too, so that's another thing I don't like about him. I'm going to go ahead and calculate values here with none off the court. For you guys that are new, I do this. I input my own values. I see what the rotations look like. I see what the usage looks like without certain guys on the court. So I will go ahead and do that for you guys now. Who's out for Miami? Winslow, Alexander, and Nunn. Let's go ahead and calculate that real quick. Winslow, Alexander, Nunn. TJ had to leave a little bit earlier just because he's playing volleyball. They're playing the third-ranked person in their league, or the third-ranked team in their league tonight. I think TJ's is like 7th. I think that's what he told me. So it'll be a good matchup. I wish he had a live stream for that. All right. Who gets an increase here? Really nobody. So that just kind of shows you. It's just going to affect the minutes. So let me take a look at Miami here. Nobody really gets a boost with none off the court. Also, guys, let me know if you hear anything on Butler. So, like, that will make Dragic's minutes go up to, like, 29. But, again, this is a low pace. Tyler Hero is going to go up closer to 28, 30, but he's priced at 5.2. Duncan Robinson probably going to be 32. It's not going to affect much. It's not. So thankfully, we don't have to stress about that. But I will get the updated minutes in just a second here. Mitchell Robinson, question mark. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Knicks. 5K. He's in a good matchup. 24 minutes. I mean, strictly GPP. Very low owned. I mean, I guess he's okay. I'm not crazy about him at all. Oh, no, I wouldn't hate on that, Sano. I like Lopez a lot tonight. I feel like he's going to be low owned and he has a high ceiling tonight. Yeah, literally volleyball. I don't know what the difference between that and volleyball is. I really don't. I didn't even ask him. I think it's more nerdy for more unathletic people. I don't know. I didn't take none out. You are right. Sorry. Thank you for that catch. Oops. So that should help. Yeah, so everybody gets a slight boost here. Thanks for the heads up, though. Yeah, everybody gets a slight boost. Oh, Jimmy Butler gets a 3.1% increase in usage. So that will give Jimmy Butler a nice little boost here. Let's see what that looks like. Uh-oh. I might like Jimmy Butler tonight. I'm going to refresh the minutes here. Jimmy Butler might be a sneaky GPP option. Thanks for catching that. I wouldn't have seen that. Oops. Again, waiting for the minutes to update here. Question: Walker, D'Lo, Middleton, Bertans, Zion, Exum, Ilyasova, Randall for GPP. I don't hate that. That's actually a viable lineup. It just looks like a lot of those guys are gonna be very low owned. You're gonna have to like enter a or you're gonna have to enter a contest with a lot of selections to like win anything with that, because those guys are gonna be so low owned. I do recommend, guys, again, Milwaukee all the way, like even in GPPs. They're going to hit value. Bertans or Jaylen Brown in GPP in DK. If you're just looking at both of them, I think they vary in price tags. So, yeah, Jaylen Brown is 6.4 and Bertans is 5.3. Jaylen Brown's a better option, just overall. Yeah, Graham's in a good spot too. I mean, it's technically a pace-up game against the Knicks. Their over/under actually went down to 104. So, I mean, I like both of them, man. I would probably lean towards D'Lo, but let's see who has better upside here. So Devontae Graham's at 9% ownership. D'Lo's at 13. So technically, Graham has more upside per ownership. Depends on the size of the contest that you're entering. Yeah, I mean, D'Lo's a better player. Yep, I got that news, guys. Thank you so much for updating. None is still in the player pool. Oh, yeah, no. Ilyasova, dude, he was going to be the highest owned regardless. I mean, what's he going to go up to? From 61 to 70%? Yeah, no, everybody's going to have Ilyasova tonight, for sure. Again, guys, thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Really do appreciate all the support. And if you are new, I want to see you tomorrow. I want to see you the next day. We do this every single day. We help give you an edge. Of course, the edge tonight is playing a lot of Milwaukee Bucks. I know that might seem obvious to some people, but listen, guys, 4 minimum. I might even start 5 in a couple contests here. If I'm starting 5, I would go Ilyasova, Middleton, Bledsoe. Actually, do you guys want to do that for me real quick? I'm not on DK, so I can't really mess with my lineups. Somebody start a lineup with Ilyasova, Middleton, Bledsoe, Brook Lopez, and DiVincenzo, and see what kind of options are left after that. I'm curious. Can you get Doncic in there if that's the case? Because that might be a viable option. Ilyasova, Middleton, Bledsoe, Lopez, DiVincenzo, and then Doncic, and then see what you're left with. You might be able to get Exum in there, right? I'm giving you guys a lineup here. And that's not crazy. Too many Bucks are not crazy. Definitely not crazy on a night like tonight. Yeah, no, I mean, it is more 70%. You're right. I might have 100% Ilyasova tonight. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I might have 100%. It's that obvious of a play. 3.3K. The dude kills it. I mean, absolutely kills it without Giannis. I feel like if I went back here in the history, I bet you it was this one. It was the game against Atlanta. I can almost guarantee you. And then right after that, 47-32. I guarantee you this was a stretch without Giannis, because Giannis didn't play for like 2-3 contests. Guarantee you it was these two games right here. 42 and 47 at 3.3K in a high-paced game, guys. You were getting 16 Doncic. I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, out of 20. Oh, you're building lineups. Yeah, I know. That might be a very optimal build. Is getting all those Milwaukee guys in there plus Doncic. Hopefully Porzingis sits. Doncic would be in a smash spot. Really good for you guys. Yeah, if you guys want to take that strategy, put a bunch of Bucks in there and then put Doncic in there. That way you can pivot later. If if Porzingis if he is playing, you can still pivot off of Doncic, so you have salary there. That could be a decent option. None is out of the player pool, and they updated minutes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and crunch some numbers here. Butler, 34. He's averaging 1.34 fantasy points per minute. Bear with me, guys. Butler, 5.6. So yeah, Butler's not a bad option tonight. I don't mind Butler. Adebayo's is not going to go up. Dragic, 1.07. I don't think Dragic is going to be a bad play either. Jones. He's actually going to be down. Yeah, Derrick Jones is just not a productive player. And apparently neither is Duncan Robinson. 0.57 fantasy points per minute. Yikes. Tyler Hero, I'm interested in. Let's see what he comes out to be. 0.83. 31. Yeah, so he's going to be priced accordingly here. All right, so yeah, like I thought, that only gives a real boost to Jimmy Butler. And looks like Myers Leonard at 21 minutes, but I'm not going to really look at him. So that's the edge. Let me go ahead and build 150 lineups here, and then we'll get a final summary on what tonight's going to look like, and I'll give you some of my favorite plays. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there because it's getting close to 6:30. I need to make my own lineups. I'll go ahead and answer a couple more questions. Troy Brown safe in cash? Yes, I do think Troy Brown's a safe play. Yeah, a lot of people, one person mentioned Terry Rozier. I just don't like him, man. I think Terry Rozier is just not that productive of a player. He's just not at 6.8 anyway. I think he's always been overpriced to me. Charlotte's just never played at a pace. So that did shake up my ownerships. Okay, let me go ahead and refresh my Roto page here, and then make sure that the projections are right, because that could end up screwing me if I don't. I'll build 150 here one more time. All right, go ahead and ask any last questions, guys. I will be getting off here after I give the summary of my final breakdown of the slate. Any more questions you guys have, feel free. You can even send in lineups. I don't care. I love looking at the lineups. Gives me ideas. Again, guys, if you haven't seen my building blocks video on how to be better at DFS, give that a watch after the stream. Really do appreciate all the support. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Please, please, please. GPP line: Bledsoe, Beal, Middleton, Ilyasova, Brook Lopez, D'Lo, Troy Brown, Kemba. You think I can play that in cash? I think that's a good cash lineup. I think that's pretty decent. I had that exact lineup, like I said before, and that was my original lineup. D Wright, yes. If Porzingis is out, I do like D'Lo and Wright. Wright's not a bad play. Doncic, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Ilyasova, Favors, Bledsoe, and Gasol. I like that. And Bertans, I like that. I do. That's a good GPP play, or GPP line. I do like that. Good line. I like that. Mix of high-owned guys with a little bit of low-owned guys. Good job. All right. So here's my final breakdown. Ilyasova is literally 100% owned. I do think Ilyasova is the most obvious play on the entire slate. Troy Brown is a sneaky GPP option. Do not get carried away. Don't put your exposures crazy on Troy Brown just because he's going to be 8.35% owned. Like if you put him at 40%, that would be a lot of leverage against the field. I think nothing higher than 40% though. If you see somebody that's virtually unowned, don't go crazy with them, okay? Eric Bledsoe is obviously going to be a fantastic play. Kemba Walker is another sneaky GPP option. Chris Middleton obviously needs to be in a majority of your lineups. I do like D'Lo as a GPP play. Okay, Jimmy Butler ended up being another sneaky GPP play. I do like Brook Lopez. I do like Bradley Beal. And I'll go ahead and draw the line there. I think those are my favorite plays on the entire slate. Kyle Lowry, it looks like I'm going to be exactly on the line there. 27, 28% owned. So I agree with the public on my exposures for him. And then I don't know why Brandon Ingram's in there. I'm going to probably get rid of him. I don't like Brandon Ingram tonight. And then it looks like I'm slightly overweight on Dante Exum. And I'm going to be overweight on Booker. Booker's another GPP option. I'm throwing all my favorite plays at you guys. And then we mentioned Ayton earlier. DiVincenzo slightly over-owned here. 23% for me. Trae Young or Jokic in GPP? Ooh, good question. Good question. Whew, that is tough. Let me look at player projections real quick. Jokic coming in at 14%. I think Trae Young's going to be lower. Yeah, 10%. I'd probably say Trae Young. Continue off of his great shooting night the other night. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get off. I gave you my summary. Hopefully everybody took those picks and is going to take them tonight. Guys, again, appreciate the support. If you want to be back for more of this, please hit that subscribe button. Again, guys, have a great Tuesday night. And with all that being said, guys, let's cash.